Known to all the dignitaries and participants to the workshop on intellectual property protection and innovation management, competitiveness of academia and industry, jointly organized by R&D, IPR and IIC cell of GVP and NRDC Vizag. Good afternoon and you are all welcome for the afternoon session. In the afternoon session, we have an eminent speaker, Dr. Yashwant Dev Panwar, Director, PFC, TIFAC, the Department of Science and Technology, Government of India. I request Dr. A. Karthik Rao, Assistant Professor, Department of Chemistry, and Coordinator of this session, to introduce formally Dr. Yashwant Dev Panwar.
Thank you, madam.
Karthik, you are requested.
Thank you, madam. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. In this session, we have a talk on IPR for entrepreneurship by Dr. Yashwant Dev Panwar. It gives me immense pleasure to introduce Dr. Yashwant sir. He did his PhD from IIT Delhi in Management of IPR, MTech in Future Studies and Planning from DAVV, Indore, and MSc in Physics from MDS University, Ajmer. Presently, he is a scientist F and heading Patent Facilitating Center PFC and TIFAC, and he has been with the TIFAC since 1996. This PFC has been facilitating filing of patents applications on behalf of academics, institutions, and government R&D institutes, creating awareness about IPR in different parts of country, providing policy inputs in the government, and also patenting information regarding Kiran IPR WOSC scheme for women scientists, intended on the TT and NIH USA, and also got trained in the EDO Vienna and JPO Tokyo. Now I hand over to Dr. Yashwant sir to start the session. Thank you, sir. Sir, Yashwant sir.
Yeah. Just give me a minute. Sorry.
Yeah, okay, sir. Okay.
ठीक. Good afternoon to all. Thank you, Dr. Rao, for a nice introduction. And I have seen in the morning session you have elaborate talks on different facets of intellectual property rights. I'm seeing Dr. Sahu. I think he would have taken care. So once he has spoken, I really don't know what is left to be spoken. But definitely I'll try my best to serve your need and make my talk beneficial to you as far as possible. I think you have Dr. Sahu with you and the full support of NRDC for handling all matters relating to intellectual property rights. So I think you don't need anything more than that. But let's learn some of the nuances, how you can really make use of intellectual property rights in efficiently managing your research work in academia and tilting your balance towards or in other words, maybe balancing your work with academia and research and interacting with industry also. And in the process, if you are not able to coordinate that fully, motivating your student to become an entrepreneur based on the research work done at your institutions. So how the whole journey can be undertaken. So what all tickets you require to really achieve what you want in the area of innovation, technology transfer, via protection and handling other nuances intellectual property protection system poses, and it really helps you in accelerating your growth, and that growth is based on evolution, development, and exploitation of technologies at different junctures. So, with these remarks, do I have a permission to share? So I try share.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So I'm sharing.
Yes, sir, you can share.
So topic given to me is intellectual property protection and innovation management for competitiveness of academia and industry. So before I right away move to the topic, uh, as we are going through pandemic situation, I would like you to give this advisory that keep mask on when you are in a public, keep social distancing, maintain social distancing, take vaccination, and all other precautions. And see, we in last 1 year we have gone through number of phases of unlocking from COVID lockdown. At different phases, we had different items unlocked, but I would urge you all to really learn unlocking intellectual property rights. And if you start unlocking intellectual property rights, be it invention from patents, be it GI from GI protection, so the efforts of your unlocking intellectual property would really make us Atmanirbhar or self-reliant. And when each one of us, if we make us self-reliant and Atmanirbhar, country will automatically be Atmanirbhar. So the clarion call from the Honorable Prime Minister, we can contribute towards this call by unlocking intellectual property rights, not only by protecting our intellectual property rights. So during the pandemic, if we see, we used to take years and months to develop something, but this Arogya Setu app was developed in 7 to 10 days. During the pandemic, everything was closed, lockdown was there. So a lot of creativity worked behind developing this app, and I think millions of users have downloaded it, and it is really helped a lot. So a lot of intellectual property has gone into it. So if you see these screens, the screens here, so there's a screen design, there's a all subject matter of copyrightable material. Mm, Let me, I'm trying to get some pen. Okay. Okay. So then you have interaction with various other devices through Bluetooth. There's a network, whole network. You have a server at back end. So a lot of innovations were required and has been done and could have been, and also have been protected through different forms of intellectual property rights. So this is just to give. So when topic is given to me that how you really built, are you able to see my slides? Anybody
Yes,
can?
sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So when we say excellence in academia or enhancing managerial capability of academia, and also same time coordinating with industry with regard to technology development, IP protection, and commercialization, I think we really need to understand values and interest of each of these entities. See, if we talk about academic institution like you or the university, so there, these are the institutions with our mother of knowledge. Knowledge is being generated in these institutions, and the purpose of evolving and coming up with new knowledge is just for the knowledge's sake. But whereas if we look at industry, they don't work towards the generation of knowledge, so they are managing the knowledge for making profit. So where the knowledge is generated, it is generated in university, but the university system or academic system will actually not be monetizing much of their knowledge, but industry will seek uh, each and every bit of knowledge they would like to convert into a profit. So there are conflicting values amongst academic and university and industry. See what happens in prime motive of a employee in academic system would be, other than teachers, they have some work, but the prime employees, the professors, researchers, students, their interests are like teaching, doing research, and other staff doing some services. And you think and plan about economic development, but you don't produce and contribute to the economic development directly. So, but whereas the industry, by producing goods, producing services, they directly contribute economic development. But if they don't have information which uh, is developed or created in academia, they will not be able to progress or graduate to the next level. Uh, Here, when you go and teach, you share knowledge freely. When you do research, you share knowledge freely, as well as you use knowledge also freely. Yeah. But in industry, you use, you share. Every bit of knowledge is associated with money and profit. Here you see a lot of academic freedom, but in industry, confidentiality, limited public disclosure, because no company will tell their trade secret. They will try to keep it secret. They may not share the list of their customers. They may not share the future schemes where those are not directed towards profit. So I think holistically we need to understand environment at and systems at both kind of organizations, academia and industry. So the better coordination between academia and industry can only lead to commercialization of new and useful technologies, and the efforts made by us, if it enhances this sphere of work, then the more commercialization will take place, more new product will come up, more of new services will come up, and everything uh, and mostly things would reach to public in the form of technology, be it be product, be it be process, be it be service, whatever you call it. But now if you see service as a service, it is actually through technology. So if you look at any service, if you calling services, home delivery, at the back end, lot of technologies are used. See, you may see services online shopping. Amazon has a great platform. A lot of technology goes into it at a back end. It's not that simple as it looks from outside. So every service is also offered to you with the technology products at a back end. So each bit of this technological evolution and development is a subject matter of protection through IP and exploitation through IP, IP licensing and commercialization. So having understood this, we little bit how these conflicting values, where we have a common interest of commercialization, there need to be a blending in some of the actions which really can create a entrepreneurs real culture in within the such institutions. So what are those issues which we need to look at in academia and industry? See, when we look at academia, all research priorities are set by investigators. And when I say investigator, I mean professor. He will actually plan his research as per his expertise, his interest. May not be without, may not be with the demand from industry, and he will submit some of. But in industry, that will not happen. See, you have a problem. Research priority is set by the management to solve a particular problem in an industry. So accordingly, people will be hired. But here, people will do research as per their priorities. So there needs some kind of a blending where the investigator also look at market demand, market need, what kind of research to be done. And when the research priorities are set in industry by a management, they should look towards academia and seek right kind of guidance with a collaboration. So that kind of a blending is required. Academia is always grant seeking. They will seek grant from the government and do some research, submit proposal, and after the research is completed, they put it in a box and product project completed. Then they will submit to UC, SE, and that's the end of the whole technology development scenario. It will not see the light of a market. Whereas industry seeks profit, so small inventions they will be able to commercialize, but at the same time to maximize profit they need more technologies. So that's where the blending between academia and more contact between academia and industry is required on specific problems. So then there's a need of a creating mechanism. In academia we want to publish, and when we publish it we actually lose patents if we publish before filing of a patent. Publication and patenting and can go hand in hand. If you first file a patent, then you can make a publication of the same thing. There's no harm in that. But if you do it other way around, if you publish it, then you cannot patent it because that becomes a public knowledge. Industry does it. Everything, every technical information, they try to make it proprietary. But there also needs some kind of relaxation for academic use or some certain use. So there need also collaboration and blending in this activity of academia and industry. So in academia, patenting is just driven by publication. So they make a publication, then they file a patent if it's, but in industry, patenting is just driven by academic decision. See, in academia, if you have made a publication, if there is an invention, you say, let us file a patent also before publication. So you don't have a final product in your mind or what kind of action post patenting. There's no planning for that. But in an industry, they will decide if the invention is going to make profit to me, then only I will spend on patenting and protecting in on those particular cases. In academia, a lot of serendipity is going on. Nobody knows what is happening. They will send to registrar office. Registrar will send to principal. Principal will send to vice chancellor. Vice chancellor will send back to HOD. Like that, a lot of serendipity goes in decision making process, and that is the very reason the agencies like NRDC, NIF, TIFAC, Patent Information Centers as a state and different department have created a facilitation mechanism for protecting intellectual property right to do away with such uncertainty. But industry, this whole thing happened in a very controlled manner. What happened? Academia technology transfer happens at an early stage. Academia transfer happens at an early stage, and when industry actually they use technology for their own use, but if they want to transfer, it happens at a after much of value addition. So if they convert their invention into a product, a lot of value addition goes into that. So that happens after much of value addition. So the chances of success is very, very high. But in academia, there may not be wherewithal to take it to the final product. So inventions are licensed at a nascent stage. So if entrepreneur culture has to be created, that gap between early stage and value added product based on those inventions, that gap need to be bridged by entrepreneurs maybe from within the institute, your students, your professors, your collaborators from industry. Anybody can start entrepreneurship for making product based on innovation done at academia. So that's how these framework need to be understood before we really go to next level of technology transfer. And I think all you would have been enriched by previous speaker about different forms of intellectual property rights and what all kind of creativity can be protected by different form of intellectual property rights, and each of these intellectual property rights will have a different kind of a protection. So I'll quickly summarize. If we talk about patents, patent actually protects new process or a new product, and life of patent is 20 years. But at the same time, design, industrial design protects the external appearance of an article for 15 years. Copyright covers literary work, books you write, poem you write, artistic works, mean you painting, sculpture, cinematographic work, engineering, drawing, and software. Interestingly, for technical institutions, they should look at these as subject matter of a copyright, and life of copyright is author's life plus 60 years. Then you have a trade secret, if anything you don't want to disclose, and other forms of IP, I think, would have been covered. So I'll not go into each of these. But when we talk about patents and try to think that we want to create an entrepreneurial culture, uh, that entrepreneurs, it cannot be established provided you look at the IP system, or particularly patent system, with more understanding. See, in this era of multidisciplinary technology evolution, it is not possible that single invention will always result into a product. Doesn't happen. If you look at your mobile phone, it is a product of more than 8,000, 10,000 patents. If you look at Canon printer, that used to be ad that is cover 1,600 patents. So if you think that one patent, product, that may happen in case of some drug molecules, or very unique few item. But this era of multidisciplinary technology evolution, it is not possible to have a single product, single patent. So you really have to understand that product is made out of n number of inventions, and those can be covered by different patents, and ownership may be with many, and may not be all patents are valid in the territory, as it would have been made very clear to you that patent is a territorial right. Patent is a territorial right. So give me a moment. I need to check one thing. Just give me a moment. I need to do.
Okay, sir. Yes, we can use 38.
Yeah. So when we talk about patent, we should not be looking at patent system that for protecting our own invention. I think we should look this whole patent documentation as a sea of a knowledge, and that sea of knowledge is of technical information, which is uh, very important information, technical information can be converted into different product and a process. And if we see 120 a, a billion patent documents are million, sorry, are available in electronic form and accessible through internet. And the life of patent is 20 years. So anything which was invented and protected before 20 years is now a public domain. So we can all freely use, not only for research and teaching, but even for commercial purposes also. So can we use all patents which are not in force for our product development when we start our entrepreneurship? In around the globe, about 4 million patents are filed every year, 3.8, 3.7, like that. So around figure 4 million patents are filed around the globe, and in India this number is about 50,000. So hardly makes any difference if we remove this 50,000. It means about 4 million in new inventions are available to us for free of cost, and the complete technical information is accessible through internet. So we really need to learn in when we start our entrepreneurship to be able to use this free knowledge in evolving our enterprises to the next level and improve globally competitive products. uh, these patents contains this disclosure, which is enabling disclosure. So if you are not able to practice some patent, that can be cancelled. So every patent described enabling disclosure of an invention means if you are able to read patent and follow the instruction appropriately, you will be able to work that particular invention. And very important thing that about 70% of this information which is published in the patent document never get published anywhere else, including technical journals and all. So when you publish a research paper, you generally don't disclose all different type of technical details in that. Different kind of technical details in that. So what happens when you file a patent? It has to be enabling disclosure. So you have to disclose that those particular data into a patent document with more completeness, and people can really able to work that. So if you are not looking at the patent information, you are losing the 70% of crucially commercially important technical information, which is really useful. Not only industry or entrepreneurship it can be useful, but in academia also. Along with the theory, practicality can be taught by taking some of recent patent as an example while describing some of the principles, some of the theories. So if you are able to do that, then really what research you would be conducting in your academic institution will be of a commercial importance, will be of up-to-date technical, will be really input for technology evolution of great competitiveness, global competitiveness you will be able to achieve if you are really following technology development around the globe. And patent is the earliest and for a unique source of technical information if you want to remain globally competitive in your research. So not on journals publication will not update you as much as patent publication will update you with regard to technological development in particular area. So I think I advise all of you to look at pertinent patent information as an input while initiating any research project, because there is no point reinventing the wheel. If something has already been invented somewhere, let's not invent that, reinvent that, do improvement in that and get our own patent. So that's how we should look at this scenario of patents which are filed around the globe. So when we talk about the development, it has to be a sustainable development. So I think if we talk about the Paris Convention, one Paris Convention was signed in 1883. That was with regard to patents, utility model, trademark. Uh, so, which is now being coordinated by World Intellectual Property Organization. So the basic principle of this IP related uh, treaty, which was signed in 1883, having four items. One is copyright, as they classified as a industrial property and the copyright. So other than copyright, all other IP were considered industrial property. But when WIPO came into patent, utility model, trademark, and everything came under single window. But the basic principle remained the giving a national treatment to all the citizens of a member country in processing IP applications. So if I am in India giving some treatment to my countrymen, I should be giving the same treatment to the citizen of any other country which is member of this WTO or a TRIPS agreement. The same national treatment is a principle in that. Then right to priority. You say there will be conflict when Indian patent is valid in India, US patent is valid in US. So when the territorial nature of patent or other IP, how who will get a priority? If let's say I have filed patent today in India and on same thing tomorrow, or maybe after 10 days somebody's filed a patent in US, who will be getting patent where? But here right of priority means if I have filed first patent in India and I have filed patent in US, after that claiming priority from India after 6 months, and somebody has filed after a month of my filing in India, I will be given a priority in US, or vice versa, it will be true. So there's a right to priority and the common rule applies to all. But when we talk about the other Paris Convention, this for the sustainable development, it is to actually keep the temperature rise under 2 degrees centigrade. So here's a national treatment, there's a national commitment. Here right of a priority, and there it's all about to choose right priorities. When we talk about here common rule, there we have a common interest of the sustainable development. So in old Paris Convention with regard to IP, we say no to carbon copy, whereas in the present Paris Convention we say no to carbon emission. So no to carbon copy, no to carbon emission, national treatment and national commitment, right to priority and a right priority, common rule and common interest. Understanding the whole framework, we will be able to do a sustainable development of our country as well as the whole humanity. When we talk about technology transfer coming out of IP protection and exploitation, the cycle which happens at academia, there's a first knowledge is created. Once the knowledge is created, it is protected through different forms of intellectual property rights. Sometimes it's by patent, sometimes by design, some part of it by copyright. And it's always important to protect it through trademark also. Sometimes there may not be something may not be protectable through patent, but if you have a very good trade name, see burger. If you eat a burger at a McDonald's or after McDonald's patent for burger is over, let's say if it's protected also after 20 years, so only trademark will give you perpetual benefits arising out of other IP. Burger remains same for 100 years and being sold in the market. But if it's a protected like trademark like KFC or McDonald or any of the Desi name also, that name will last forever. So IP protection is to be holistic IP protection, and when we plan exploitation also, we should plan. Sometimes the good trade name helps us in really marketing and commercialization of our technology or innovative product. That happens. And if you look at simple Android, when you buy next version, so they give very interesting name. They're very interesting name to the next version. It's unlike Windows 10, Windows 12, Windows like that. So you have a very interesting name when you get your next version released for Android, and which one at the right moment you can actually think about it, and which one you are having. So they have a lollipop. They have a very good, interesting name to commercialize that particular technology through trademark. So each of the facets of intellectual property to be utilized for appropriate. So at the academia side, we have a creation, protection, and we need to leverage that particular knowledge. If we look at the market or a industry side, so industry need to access technologies, access innovation from academia or from other industry or from other countries, and adopt them in their functionality, and then leverage it for commercialization in a market. So these are tries point which I would like to explain how you can leverage intellectual property rights, creativity, and technologies at these places in particular manner. So what generally let's understand what are the attributes of a technology. When we talk about, we would like to start an entrepreneurship from IP protection, commercialization, and a technology transfer. So let's understand the basic attribute of a technology. So what is a technology? So there may be, this is actually an embodying a scientific and engineering idea into a goods and services. So you have engineering or scientific ideas. So you try and embed those ideas or make part of new goods or a services, and that becomes a technology. Technology, if it and that becomes successful if it has a utility, it enhances the performance, or it enhances ease of use, so reduces the complexity. So then it becomes a technology with the attribute to be transferable, and there is a input need. If it happens, if you try and embody or make part of scientific principles or engineering idea into a goods and services to achieve these three things, ease of use, performance, and utility, it is advisable that it seeks protection. And if you don't make it legally protected, it will go out of your hand, or it will die its own death, or somebody will be a using it and making all profit uh, out of that incorporation of new ideas, because you may incorporated one idea or one scientific principle in a goods and services, and other people may be able to add two more with along with your idea, so they will have upper hand. So if you are protecting through intellectual property rights, you will be able to at least stop from using your basic idea. So they will have 3 minus 1, and then if they would like to have all three, then they will come to you for a technology transfer or licensing or whatever possible it to take the technology to the next level. So that understanding is required in you. Uh, so if we look at and try to understand this whole thing in other concept, so technology or know-how, what is it? We easily say technology, we say know-how, we wanted to transfer. What it is? It's nothing but a sum of knowledge, experience, and skill. So if you combine all knowledge, experience, and skill, for what? For manufacturing a new product, or creating a new service. So if you are applying knowledge, experience, and skill to make a new product or create a new services, what you need, you have to have some resources, an efficient conversion of those resources into product and services with about three components, and that is the technology. So when you going and traversing through this particular cycle, at each point you need protection. When you drive a motorbike, you one moment, give me a moment.
ఫార్టీ మెంబర్స్ దీంట్లో ఉన్నారు, యూట్యూబ్లో 15 మెంబర్స్ ఉన్నారు.
Are you able to hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so that's where the whole cycle of IP. So what we need, which can be sold during the TT, and to whom. So when we do research work, we are passionate about what we have done, but I think we need to identify each of those items. So what we want when we say technology transfer, so what is the function of a machine which we have improved, and that particular function as a IP we want to sell in the market, not the whole. If you see washing machine, if you introduce a feature, where you have introduced a feature in the washing powder or an electronic plate or a control system or a spinning system or a drum, material of a drum or drainage system or coating of a engine. So which function you added into as in technology, not as a whole machine is a technology transfer. Technology is a function which you add to machine or any product or a process. Then there may not be some time, there may be a use of a characteristic of a machine or characteristic of a product in certain for certain application, any special feature. So all these things are you really need to do an audit and find out, or product per se or a process per se is protectable. Many a time new application of a known products, but when you have a mere new application, it may not be protectable, but technology transfer is possible. But if when you make a new application of a known product, you come across some difficulty and you solve those problems with an innovative ideas, definitely you can have another patent protection and other IP protection. Or if you write a software, you can have a copyright protection for that, making use of already known device for other application. So all those items you have to itemize, and be it MSME, be it big industry. When you take technology out of laboratories, these are the key points you need to identify, and that will really help you become envisioning new product and services as an entrepreneur also. So I think I may not be able to teach you how you actually source funding, how you do other things, but yeah, I can just let you know IP point of view, what all care you need to take and what are items you need to look at. So when we want to make use of our resources well, I think we need to do audit of our resources. See, when the government provides you finance, management provide you finance to run an institution, so every year they conduct an audit. So what is the audit? But nothing but actually seeing the organizational process, systems, how your enterprise works, what are the control system, if there's no wastage of money, no pilferage of resources in any form, And there's an annual audit is conducted. But when these annual audits are conducted, IP audit people try and don't try to make part of an audit system. So I firmly believe that and propose that all institutions which have the research system or R&D system need to really look into carefully look and conduct IPR audit from time to time of their institutions and convert their IP into product and processes and convert some of the students, faculties along with their own IP into entrepreneurs producing those products into a market. So when we say what all need to be audited is to review publication of faculty, what was something was patentable, something copyrightable, any good idea for trademark, etc., etc., and need to take stock of all PhD thesis, what could have been patented. So before it is thesis is published or viva is taken place, all protectable work need to be protected. Then what are the research projects sanctioned to the faculty from various funding agencies? What are the mechanism of protecting filing and exploitation? And when you're writing books, all these, the paper publication, what are the patents granted, what patent. So you have 10 patents filed and you are not auditing it, and you go on and incurring expenditure on these things. So that will not yield any result. So continuously you really need to audit how many patent application you filed, how many other IPR applications how much money you spend, what efforts have been made. So everything you have to review and determine what all benefit can be taken. So when you talk about and make an effort for technology transfer, I think you can actually create some basic format for auditing these inventions. Particularly beyond IPR audit, you can have an individual technology audit also. So where you can each of patents which have been filed, or so you can do audit or invention auditing. So what is the technology? What is the potential? So there has to be further research where it can be used, who can be potential users. So that kind of auditing can also be there to enhance chances of commercialization of any invention or technology from your institute. What is the scientific principles are used in this, engineering knowledge is used, what are know-how. So all these things have to be documented in a certain format, and that really will help you in negotiating technology, because you know exactly what you have done. So these kind of auditing and the format can be made in the institution, that will be helpful. Then who ownership and sharing, who are the inventors, because inventor is a very essential person to actually facilitate the whole process of commercialization. So all owners can transfer technology, but inventors will make the technology work. So inventor is always required till the product reaches to the market, and even after that to solve some problem. So inventor should always be on board for any protection, filing, transfer, commercialization. Very important person. Other, I think, which is already given. So when you really transfer a technology, what all you transfer in the process? You transfer skills, you transfer knowledge, you transfer techniques, you transfer method of manufacturing. So technology transfer is not in just in patent licensing, or you in the process you really do this, everything get exchanged. So when you transfer technology from academia to industry, when you transfer technology from academia to your own startup, your own entrepreneurship, you really have to take along with these all skills, knowledge, techniques, method of manufacturing, method of evolving, supporting softwares, very many things. and how it can be shared. You can incubate your own startup, or as a spin-off company you can open consulting firm. And to give an incubation is now the startup, there's a huge potential and a lot of support from the government through different schemes, so you can make use of that. You can start your consulting. If you solve an industry problem, you can open consulting firm and provide solution to big industries. To give a very small example of this, our Patent Information Center at Punjab State Council of Science and Technology, they patented a pollution reducing method in a brick kiln. So they opened a consultancy within the institutions, and they consulted about few thousand Brooklyn, and they gave a license on the technology with just 35,000 rupees, and they generated 60-70 lakhs of rupees in 2 years out of that consultancy business. So it's not necessary that your entrepreneurship is for making product or a processes or marketing those products, but you can have your own consulting. So that can be another way of enterprising. Then you can give a license, you can do franchising, and the franchisees can be controlled through IP. See, McDonald, the name only McDonald, or KFC, the name KFC. So that IP name, and they are giving franchisees and making a lot of money. So how you leverage your intellectual property rights? For technology, you need start to end the complete chain. So these are the documents which are required, and I think Sahuji is there with you. I think it may be premature to get into valuation and all, so I'll make a couple of points. So during the Corona time, people solve many problems. I'll take people use this problem into real use and creativity they applied in their businesses. In Surat, somebody came up with the Corona saris. So from pandemic, he registered them as industrial design, and nobody can copy these designs. So they created IP out of that and selling into market, making profit and attracting people and customers. I think I would like to conclude my talk here with this particular slide. What all technical or institutional support you require if you need to handle what I mentioned in my talk. You need a technical support like patent search, patent documents, and analysis if you really want to ascertain what you are doing is patentable or not. So you need legal support by engaging attorneys, doing follow-up actions, infringement and revocation. You need some financial help in the form of fees, searches, patent document costs, prosecution costs, maintaining and litigation, if any. Then procedural things in your institution, who will sign power of authority, so you require clearance from your institutes, who will be corresponding, who will be giving license, and the record maintenance. So that there's need a procedural setup in the institution, and then administrative, how you resolve ownership issue, how you resolve benefit sharing issues. So that's where any creative work and protection of IP and exploitation require this kind of institutional support. So I urge your institution to make this kind of a setup, or use facilities like NRDC and TIFAC and other facility which are provided. But at least you need a part infrastructure to handle these things in your institution. So with this, I'll just say thank you very much for giving me patient hearing. So if there are a couple of questions, I can take.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir. So now questions are open. You can unmute yourself and ask the question. Or you can post it in the chat box also.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much, Yashwant, sir. It's a very informative lecture.
Yes, please.
Parime from from Gayatri Vidya Parishad, a professor of organic chemistry, and also I am looking after the R&D cell also.
Great, great. I think you're the
Actually,
right person.
natural products. Yeah, yes, sir. Yeah, also, sir. Sir, we have an anti-cancer molecule isolated a natural product from natural sources. And can we patent it? It has shown anti-cancer activity in vitro.
See, if it is an already known product and if you discovered a new property of it, then in same form it may not be patentable. But if you have developed a
It is a new
formulation,
molecule, sir.
so if it's entirely new molecule, then definitely. But was it existing in
The
nature?
molecule is new.
Ne- No, was it existing in?
No, yes, it is existing in nature, but
Yeah, so you discovered it. So I
in
think
literature it is
we
not
need a
there.
private discussion
Yes,
on
yes,
that.
sir.
Yeah, so if it was existing in nature, you have
Okay, sir. Thank you.
you have extracted it, then it may not be. So if you discovered something from nature, it may not be patentable. But while the extraction process, if it changed the form and was not known, then that can be. So it need a personal discussion. Yes.
Okay, sir. And the second one is we have done some enzymatic synthesis to get enantiomerically pure molecule.
Mm-hmm.
Can we, that molecule is intermediate for many of the drugs. And we have a process of enzymatic process where we
Yeah.
synthesize the molecule in
If
a
this process is
enantiomerically pure form.
yeah. So if this
Yes.
process is new,
Yeah.
novelty in the process
Yeah.
may be patentable, not a product.
Okay, sir. Not the product, a pattern. Okay. Thank you. Thank you
Process
very
of
much, sir.
purifying.
And okay, and another question, sir. I don't know whether I can ask you or not. It is not related with IPR. We are applying for DST projects so many times, sir. Uh,
I think that I may not be
DST
able to.
around.
Yeah. I mean,
Uh, sir, all the projects are from premier institutes. We are the small colleges are not getting any grant.
I don't think any discrimination is there, but it's maybe on a.
Yes, sir, but at least some of the money should be allocated to private colleges also.
I maybe they may need to create a separate this thing to
Yeah,
compete.
sir, that will be
I
better
understand.
because we have, yeah, without money we cannot do anything.
I understand.
Yeah, so it is if you are giving
I
money
think
to
I
a
have to
premier
join.
institute,
Hello. हाँ बस
thank
sorry.
you, sir.
I'm just.
Okay, sir. At least half 10% or 1% also is enough for us, sir.
Okay, I think I can take one quick question because I'm getting call. The secretary sir is
Okay,
waiting.
okay, sir. Thank you. Thanks.
I think Sauji is there. Rest of the question he can take care. Sauji?
Okay, sir. Okay, thank you. So, okay,
Good afternoon, sir.
You quickly you can pose your question. Otherwise,
Yeah,
Sir, good
yes, sir.
afternoon.
Okay, sir.
Good afternoon, sir. There's a question, sir, from me. Can we copyright a concept, sir? Can a concept be copyright? Can we go for a copyright for a
I think
concept,
Sauji
sir?
you can answer. Dr. Sau, you are there? Hey, I need to leave. I need to leave.
Okay, sir.
okay, sir.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Or we can have question answer later.
Okay, sir. We will send the questions to you.
Yeah,
Thank you, sir. Thank you for
send me through mail. I'll respond everything.
yeah,
Huh?
sure, sir.
So you get collect all the question and send me. Huh?
Yeah, I will collect the
Oh,
questions
Dr.
and I
Sau
will
is
send
there.
it.
He will be able to answer.
Yes, sir. Sahu sir is there. He will take over, sir. No problem. Thank you very much. So thank you for enlightening us, sir, by this IPR for entrepreneurship. You have enlightened our audience by telling the difference between the industry and academia, IPR, and also technology transfer. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. And I hand it over to the madam, director, madam. Sir, Sahu sir, can you answer the question, sir?
Yes, I can answer. Yeah, thank you, Yasmin sir, for giving a precious time. Although you are hectic, busy schedule, we are really grateful to you, sir.
Yes, yes, yes. I am able to hear you.
Yeah, Dr. Karthik, what is the question?
Madam, you can ask. Sir, can we copyright the concepts, sir?
Concept means copyright cannot be, something should be, you should write, and it because copyright is a literary right. Any the intellectual property what we are in the form of literary work, artistic work, painting, that can be protected as a copyright. And copyright itself, once you write or you are the author, that means you have the copyright. For legal this thing safeguard, you can protect as a copyright.
Okay, sir. Sir, if you have some ideas, can we patent it, or can we have some copy for that one?
Idea cannot be patentable, but how you are making that idea into a product, it should be properly written, documented, then only you can go for patent. Idea or concept cannot be protected as a intellectual property.
Okay, thank you.
Because it is not a tangible form. It should be in the tangible form, then only you can protect it.
Okay, sir. Anyone has any questions? Any questions from the audience? Okay. If no questions, then Madam, Director Madam, you just take over.
Thank you, Karthik, and thank you, really thank you, Dr. Sahu. Without you, we cannot be able to do this workshop. And today we will conclude this for today. And tomorrow we'll start at 10 o'clock in the morning, 10 o'clock. If there are any questions, please mail us or in the chat box. Then we will send those questions to the concerned persons and get answers to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
The feedback form will be sent through the WhatsApp group. Please fill it and send it back. Tomorrow's ID also will be kept in the WhatsApp group. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Sahu, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you, all of you. It's our privilege.
Thank you, sir.